For my digital essay, I will be discussing the role of self-reflection in the first-year college reading classroom, as well as the benefits it provides for students. Some of the earliest work I have found on self-reflection in education is from American philosopher John Dewey. Dewey's work in education was concerned with being student-centered and that schools and teachers are a social service that provides for the community through educating its adults and children. So what is self-reflection? It's hard to pin down exactly, but I'll defer to Dewey's definition as a starting point. In his book, How We Think, John Dewey defines reflection as active, persistent, and careful consideration of any belief or supposed form of knowledge in the light of the grounds that support it and the further conclusion to which it tends. Why should we care about reflection? Why not focus on something else, like how to teach content like grammar or sentence diagramming? Reflection has many benefits for students and really all humans, even teachers. Through self-reflection, students can claim their learning as their own, rather than just the facts the teacher has presented to them. By being introspective, students are remaking what has been taught by the teacher in their own image. Some of you might be thinking of the writings of Freire, Smagorinsky, or Vygotsky when I say this, and you're right. This is students applying their own knowledge and lived experiences to what they have been taught and allowing it to reshape their worlds. In her book, Made Not Only in Words, Kathleen Blake Yancey speaks on the function of self-reflection when she says, "Reflection asks that we explain to others so that in explaining to others, we explain to ourselves. We begin to re-understand." In their article, Reflection and Learning to Teach Reading, a critical review of literacy and general teacher education studies, Kathleen Roskos, Carol Vukolich, and Victoria Risco say that reflection is not only a tool of skilled practice, but also a feeling that helps educators to teach effectively and intelligently rather than unthinkingly, dogmatically, or prejudicially. At this point, you might be asking yourself, why does Connor care about reflection so much? Well, in my academic career, I was never really taught how to think for myself. It was always, here's the way and here's how we expect you to do it. Sometimes this wasn't an issue because I was able to pick up what was taught right away, but I also had plenty of times where it just wasn't clicking. This was very frustrating and ultimately harmful because I assumed that the problem was me. It wasn't until I was in college that I started to unconsciously learn the benefits of self-reflection. I found myself in creative writing classes where I was able to write freely without concern of right and wrong. My creative nonfiction course was where I was able to start analyzing my past and work through some of the issues that I struggled with. Through my writing, I was able to learn about myself in ways that I didn't think were possible. The way became one way. Now that I am working toward becoming a teacher, I want to implement the powers of self-reflection into my classes so that my students can make what they learn their own. I am less concerned with giving them factoids. Instead, I want to show them how to think for themselves. So how can self-reflection help with reading? Through writing, of course. In their article, Dialogic Reflection and Journaling, Herman Woodrow Hughes, Mary Coy, and Lanny Kanevsky discuss the practicality of writing when they say, students can use writing to sort things out, to clarify, organize their thoughts, connect old knowledge to new, and, in the process, personalize the content. This lines up with what I previously said about reflection, because ultimately, writing is a physical manifestation of self-reflection. As students write their questions and struggles, they can begin to better understand why they are experiencing things as a certain way, resulting in deeper engagement and meaning-making with their readings. There are many ways we can implement self-reflective writing in the reading classroom, one of which is journaling. In his article, Reflective Journal, A Portal into the Virtues of Daily Writing, Steve Portman says, "Journaling is an exercise that is direct, productive, and profound in its use. It is easy to start, habit-forming, and beneficial, capable of elevating your classroom writing practice and, furthermore, building a community of writers simply through its daily practice. Many people keep personal journals where they write about their lives as a means of making sense of their existence. So why not bring this practice into the classroom? Why not provide students the opportunity to make sense of their studies through writing that is personally introspective?" Journaling is an activity that casts a long shadow. There are so many ways to keep a journal, and for the sake of being efficient, I have gathered 3 methods: the difficulty paper, the learning journal, and the double entry journal. First, let's explore the difficulty paper. Perhaps more of an assignment than a journal, the difficulty paper has many benefits. When students are having a hard time engaging with a text, it can lead them to feeling frustrated or defeated. Moments of difficulty should never lead a student feeling bad about themselves. Rather, these moments should lead to opportunities for learning. According to Eileen Dawn, a difficulty paper is a paper in which you identify and begin to hypothesize the reasons for any possible difficulty you might be experiencing as you read a poem, play, essay, research article. Michael Arnzen discusses the purpose of the difficulty paper when he says that by grappling with intimidating readings, students can master their anxieties about and become more confident reading academic texts, and that through writing out their thoughts, taking a metacognitive approach, they can identify what they already know and what they still need to find out. The goal of the difficulty paper is to get students to grapple with why they are challenged by a text, so that they can not only better understand the text, but themselves. The learning journal is discussed in Magdalene D. N. Liu and Hank Schmidt's article, Self-Reflection and Academic Performance, Is There a Relationship? In their article, Liu and Schmidt look at whether reflection journal writing was effective in promoting self-reflection and learning, and whether students become better at self-reflection if they engage continuously in reflection journal writing. The learning journal is intended to be a daily activity in which students respond to a journal question provided by a teacher or tutor each day before submitting their entry. Like the difficulty paper, the learning journal provides a space in which students can reflect on their engagements with texts, as well as keeping teachers in the loop so that they can assess how their students are reacting to texts. In Liu and Schmidt's original study, learning journals were written by applied science students and shared with tutors, not teachers. But I think that the same basic approach can be utilized by teachers in reading classrooms. It could also be utilized by tutors in learning centers. The double entry journal was the least familiar form of reflective writing to me. Hughes, Coy, and Konevsky say the purpose of the double entry journal is twofold. First, students carry on an interactive dialogue with the material, recording their summaries or restating the content in their own language and constructing personal meaning. Second, They use their notebooks as shared text with peers to construct the knowledge socially to advance understanding. The double entry journal is simple to construct and easy to use. Students obtain either a 3-ring binder and lined paper or a spiral-bound notebook. Each section of 2 facing pages is targeted for a specific task. The left page is used to take notes, assigned readings, direct quotations, observations, lists, images, models, description of events, or summaries. The right page is used to record reflections about the material generated on the left page, comments, reactions, objections, feelings, questions, and new learnings. An alternate form is 2 halves of 1 page. The double entry journal provides a space for reflection by combining students' in-class notes with their ruminations. It allows students to determine what they do and don't understand and why they experience it this way. It removes teachers from the equation of meaning making and gives the power to the students. With double entry journals, students are actively working through what is taught in class, and thusly thinking and learning become process-oriented rather than goal or grade-oriented. Now that we've covered self-reflection and journaling, let's do some reflecting of our own. Would you incorporate self-reflection in your classroom? If you have used a form of reflection in your class, has it had positive effects on your students? Would you use any of the 3 methods of journaling in your classroom, or would you try something else? Thank you for watching.